Welcome to Sunny Days Podcast. Today is a great day. I am actually super pumped up. Um, I've been kind of working on this for a little while now. I kind of teased it on the last episode, but we have a guest today, my boy Ben Lawson. We are newly acquainted, but his story it's actually kind of weird, because I've seen your story a bunch of times, and but it never kind of connected to me because you're a beast. You look great. So I was like, this guy's never been sick in his life. He's and so you talk about your journey, and I'm like, yeah, and it kind of, I don't know, I didn't click it until I was looking for people to help promote Mackenzie's book, and then I kind of a little deeper into it. But anyway, welcome to the podcast, man. I'm just super excited to have you here and to hear your story a little bit and kind of share.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, so I kind of tell everybody this. I don't do too much research, which could be a little dangerous. It has, yeah, it could be. Cool things, we can delete it, but but I don't do a lot of research on the people that I interview because I kind of want a natural reaction of your story and things. I think if I do too much, the conversation could get a bit boring, I guess. So I don't know a ton about your story. I know that you are 5 years remission. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's like the number. I talk about
sweet
it.
Number.
That's the number. You're like, and I have some questions about that, and I'd like to talk about that. But I really just would love. But okay, well, before we get started, I do this to everybody, and it is kind of a part of the I don't know if you've listened to any of the podcasts, but it is part of the podcast that I do. It is Would You Rather, and so I just do Would You Rather. I love Would You Rather questions. I think if you're going to get to know somebody, this is really a quick way to do it.
Okay,
and,
cool.
Cool thing about AI is it made them kind of a little bit geared towards you. I put in a little information about you, and so, would you rather lose all your cooking skills but keep your strength and athleticism, or would you rather lose your athleticism and be an elite level cook?
Oh man, that's tough. Could I relearn the cooking skills if I keep my strength?
Yeah, that's fair. I think you could relearn them.
Okay, I'll keep the strength because I've already had to regain that. I'll relearn the cooking skills because I feel like a novice in cooking anyway still. So
Cool. Yeah. All right. That's a good one. So you're saying you would keep the strength. Okay, cool. All right. The other one, they go a little bit deeper. Would you rather know the exact day that your cancer would go away? Obviously, you're in remission, but just kind of think back. Would you rather your cancer would go away, or would you rather never know when it's going to go away and be at peace with that? Or if
never
I
know.
guess.
I would never want to know.
I said the same thing. I was like, a date has never helped me.
No, that would just give me anxiety and stress, and I'm just like, let's just roll the dice and have faith and hope it works out. So far, it's worked out for me. So
I know, when I did transplant, I had the date. This is day 100. And it didn't help me. Actually, I was every day was because I kind of kept up with it, and obviously, and it just was a grueling process to keep up with that.
Super slow. Yes. I remember those days, man. Yeah, day 20, day 30, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get better.
I feel like I did pretty good up until day 60, 50. I was like, oh, I'm getting there. We're doing that. Plus, I was extremely sick and didn't keep up with the days all that well.
Yeah.
And then, but once I got a little bit of energy and a little bit of normalcy, terrible. Did not go well.
Yeah.
Well, man, tell us about yourself. I'd like people to know which we'll get into it a little bit deeper, but just like tell, about yourself, your life, I know you have a family, and, but then also get into your story. I'd like to hear some.
Yeah, definitely. So, I've lived all over, but right now in Tennessee. I'm originally from Michigan, born and raised.
Really?
Yep. I was in the military for 4 years. So did some traveling, spent some time deployed overseas.
Oh,
Ultimately now I have 3 kids. Recently had another with my wife, which has been
wow.
really exciting. We got married a couple years ago, and yeah, just a little bit about my background in cancer journey. So super into fitness, fitness coach for many years. Had an athletic background in high school, and it transpired into fitness essentially because I was like, I need to do something to keep myself occupied. So started lifting weights and fell in love with that. But basically what happened is I competed in bodybuilding, was doing pretty good with where I was at as far as my physique, my strength and everything.
Sure.
And then out of nowhere, started feeling sick, and went downhill fast. Walked
Really?
into an ER because I had weird symptoms. And what I tell people when they're like, what did it feel like? I felt like I had like a cold or like allergy symptoms, felt really achy, really tired. It was like almost like sinus pressure irritation because my eye was like watering and had a sore throat.
Oh, wow.
Weird symptoms. So I was like going to urgent care and be like, hey, I need like a steroid, antibiotic to knock this out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that doesn't knock out cancer. So
That's it.
um, ended up walking into an ER, and they did blood tests. And while I was sitting there in bed, I kind of share the story. There was a TV next to my bed, and it had test 1 of 5 complete, test 2 of 5 complete, 3 of, and I'm sitting there just like, all right, when are we going to get to 5, and then they can give me my meds and I can get on my way. Well,
Sure, yeah.
set up 4 out of 5 for a long time. And I was like, that's really weird. Then my nurse came in, who I knew from the gym. Actually, she worked out at the gym I went to, and she said, hey Ben, it's a good thing you came in today. Your white blood count's really high. And I was like, whatever that means. Hopefully you got some good meds for me.
Hurry up.
Right. So then the doctor comes in and is like, hey, just kind of so you know where you're at, your white blood count should be at 10,000. Mine got up to 362,000. So most medical people I've talked to, they're like, I've never heard of someone getting that high without having a stroke or heart. And then right then and there, he told me, you have acute myeloid leukemia. You need to go to a cancer center right now. We're going to fly you out to, at the time I was in Panama City Beach, we're going to fly you out to Tampa or Orlando, depending on what hospital can take you and has resources to take care of you. So took a helicopter ride. And this was also, mind you, this was March 2020. So
okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. COVID and all that.
COVID, yes. So I was even hesitant to go to the ER because I was like, I don't want to deal with, what's going on there.
Yeah.
So that was a whole experience in itself with treatment and all. But yeah, started chemo. That first week was the hardest thing I've ever went through by far. Ended up getting pneumonia. Get my lymph node removed. I was kind of in and out of urgent care, or not urgent care, but the ICU rather.
Yeah.
I ended up having a brain hemorrhage, which is, a type of stroke.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they were like, hey, if anything weird happens, let us know. And I was like, I can't really squeeze my hand. Like, these fingers aren't very strong. And they're like, okay, let's get you imaged. Sure enough, brain hemorrhage, back to the ICU. Ultimately what happened is my heart, lungs, organs started shutting down. So they intubated me for 3 days. So was out for 3 days, woke up, had lost
a medical person. So I should probably know this. They put you out. Like, you don't remember that?
No. No, wow. I remember them telling me, and the next thing I remember waking up, I had like dreams. I was dreaming, so I kind of remember the dreams. Then I woke up 3 days
That's
later.
crazy.
And it was weird waking up, losing 55 pounds in between going to sleep and waking up, because they're like, you don't realize how much strength goes into that. You can't just like hop up out of bed like they do in the movie after being in a coma. I didn't have the strength to even stand on my own. So
See, that's crazy. I never would have. You're the second person. You ought to go check it out. She's got a cool story too, Abby. She was put it to sleep as well. A little bit different scenario, but pretty similar. Like she's dying. Like basically, like hey, basically the only way we can save you is to put. Is that kind of similar? Like we got to put you to sleep, and we'll bring you back awake. When your body's ready. And hers was a little bit long, like maybe I'd have to think back, but maybe a week or two.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So basically, yeah, it was my lungs. Like my oxygen saturation was just dropping and dropping and dropping. Like we can't do anything else. Your body just needs to like chill out and rest and relax. So, that's what they did.
Thing like that they can do that. Like I don't know. I just find it just wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you just needed to sleep it off, basically, and like we're gonna force you to sleep it off into like a,
And so, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. So you woke up from this, and where were you at?
Yeah, woke up in the ICU, cancer center. They sent me, once I was good enough after a day or two in there, they sent me back to kind of the bone marrow transplant unit. I was at Shands Cancer Center in Gainesville, the University of Florida. And just kind of started my recovery from there. The next game, the game plan was bone marrow transplant. So long story short, had a few rounds of chemo over the months and then tested my brother. He was a full match. We did a bone marrow transplant. Yeah, it was amazing. So super blessed there. Did a bone marrow transplant. And I guess I should backtrack too. As soon as I was diagnosed, it was kind of like that's really crazy. Don't really understand it. I don't even know what leukemia really is, to be honest. I've heard of it, heard the term, know it can't. And they were just kind of like this.
Where were you at? Like, just for my cancer, I get most of my viewers are people who understand what you're talking about. Yep. So like, what were your mutations? And did you do treatment? Like, did you do chemo leading up to, before you started in your bone marrow transplant conditioning and all that? Like, and that was, I think you said that. I want to make sure I understand before you got, where you're like, hey, or did they immediately say, hey, look, you're getting transplant because of those mutations? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it was the FLT3 mutation. Oh. So, and to be honest, I never looked into much of it. I still don't know a lot about it. Because I was like, the more research I do, the more I'm going to trip myself out. I don't want to know statistics. I don't want to know anything, because as soon as I looked up statistics, I was like, I don't need to know this. I'm just going to do me,
Well, that's a tough one. If you ever find yourself up to it, there's a lot of people that you could reach, what comes to mind for me on several levels is one would be on an AML cancer level, but also on a fitness level. Like, the FLT3 mutation is a very tough, sticky mutation for people to have. And man, the fact that you're 5 years in this thing would be just a massive encouragement. I have several friends that have it, and some doing well and some not as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've spoken to, dozens, if not probably hundreds of people at this point who, some have had it. And so been able to talk a little bit about it. So I've learned a little bit more, but still just kind of like, don't ask me about what medications I took or anything else. I'm just going to lift weights and get strong and do my best here. So
heck yeah.
Yeah. But
man,
go ahead.
No. I want to know. Keep going. So you were getting ready for transplant. Your brother was your donor.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say too, like once I found out what was going to, like, once they originally told me AML, this is going to be a thing. And I just kind of, your life kind of flashes before your eyes, just like, what's going to happen? Am I going to get through this? And I just kind of made a goal, like, hey, if I'm get through this, I'm going to get up on bodybuilding stage again. That's going to be my drive, my physical drive to get through this.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's a huge reason that pushed me. And, I prevented as much muscle loss as humanly possible during the whole chemo process.
How did you do that? Like, what was your process, because it's difficult, physically, what was your? plan, I guess.
Yeah, so I really just kind of was like, I obviously have to play it by ear because some days you physically, your platelets are too low. I can't even get out of bed without, being a bleeding risk. So it was essentially just like, okay, we're starting at 0. They would my occupational therapist would bring me weights, bands, what I needed. And I would do, I started with like single leg press in bed before I could even like walk around. So I was starting from the bare minimum scratch, and just worked my way up to essentially box squats on the side of the bed to get strong enough to walk around. And then it was a lot more walking, and then just bare minimum stuff with bands and dumbbells. And my goal was, I'm going to do a little something every day, no matter how drained I feel, even if it's just a little walk, even if it's just a little mobility work. Because also, when you're laying in bed for most of the day, your low back, your hips get very tight. That's another thing people don't realize.
Oh yeah, man. I used to no bodybuilder, never been on a bodybuilding show days or whatever. But pre leukemia, I did. That was a big part of my life. Like I work out 5 days a week. I probably weighed 220 before all this. Going into it, I was proud of what I had built. And it was very difficult, and still is, to accept the weight loss, and the muscle loss. And I was just like, I remember sitting in there being like, looking down, like you said, the not moving your legs and stuff, and you're just like, dang, man, these. I'm 6'2". I don't know how tall you are, but I'm like, these things were already struggling a little bit, So like, I am like, holy crap. And it was difficult. And I remember doing body weight squats and anytime I could. I actually started doing like push-ups, obviously a little bit later, but and I had bought some bands myself and was doing just different things. And that I do think, I tell everybody all the time, and I don't know if you feel the same, but I ate pretty clean. I meal prepped, fish, chicken, beef, rice, the whole. People at work used to kind of make fun of me a little bit because of the prep, and hey man, why don't you eat like Popeyes with us today? And I'm like, nah, I'm working hard on XYZ or whatever. And they always say, oh man, that didn't, they're kind of goofing with me now, like, man, all that fish and look at you now, but I do believe it, like, my fitness probably saved my life in some aspects, of like being able to recover and being able to go through the chemo and everything, and then also like my heart health was good, my liver health was good. And
no, it's funny because now I've actually, seen some scientists and research talking about how muscle mass is a huge, fighting factor against cancer. So if, the more muscle you have, typically the better off you are going to be. So I do, I agree 100%. I definitely would have, with all the things I went through with the mutation, with, all of the complications, I would have passed away if it wasn't for my fitness level. So
I agree.
I got those same things.
Yeah.
I got those same things of like, so all that working out and, because I'm like, what the heck? I don't party. I don't do all these, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. It's just like, I just work out and, but look at, hindsight, that is what saved me. So
no doubt, I didn't have my first drink of alcohol until I was 30. I'm 36 now. So I did drink a little bit, but like nothing, I'm not partying or anything like that.
Right.
And so, but like my liver, like people always kind of give me a hard time about, say, not drinking or the food. And I didn't always, I was never 100% clean. I wasn't a bodybuilder, but I did have goals. Like I went in at 220. I think the lowest I got in weight was like really close to that 170 mark, which, was a lot. It was mostly during transplant that I lost. I mean, I lost weight during chemo and all that, but I was able to get back up to like 195 in between you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to go through. It seems like your process was a good bit faster than mine. I had to go through like consolidation, or I did my induction, consolidation, and then they decided, oh, you need a transplant. So I didn't have the flip 3, so where they were like, you're going to need a transplant.
Yeah. Yeah. They told me pretty much from right away, they were like, you're going
Yeah,
to have to do a transplant. So when, I went in, I think I had like 2 or 3 rounds of like a consolidation chemo. Like I would go in once a month for a couple
sure.
days.
Man, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was just kind of like, well, what's the next step? They're like, well, we need to find a donor. I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, what do we need to do? And they're like, oh, we need to test. And I was like, my brother, let's test him. Let's do it. Like, all right. And sure enough, came back 100%. So I'm like, all right, let's do I
100.
was kind of pushing like, let's get this thing done. I'm ready to get better. So
And I get
yeah, I had
that.
a good
Like,
doctor too.
man, that's so cool. Like I wish if I knew that hindsight, I wish I could have went straight into transplant, right? I did all
Yeah.
this chemotherapy going in like tons, months. I did months of chemotherapy, like a year basically.
Yeah. Wow.
Before we started, looking at transplant, and then you got to go through all that. And then, so yeah, that's a better way, in my opinion, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, obviously that means you're at a higher risk and things like that.
Yeah, I guess like to my detriment, I'm just super impatient. So I was definitely pushing the bill on that one. Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna do
yeah.
it. Let's do it. I don't care. Like, if it's gonna be bad for me or gonna, go south, like I'd rather it be now than in 5 years. So
So
let's
did
just
you
get it
have
done.
like any scares, like, you know, as far, obviously you told us about the beginning, that was super scary. And, but like, okay, you started your process of like transplant, and did you have any before that, relapses, or did you have any change? And see, that's crazy. And you got MRD negative. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is.
So you got like cancer free, 0, like undetectable pretty quickly, would you say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't have any after that initial round that almost killed me. That was by far the hardest part for me because I know a lot of people their transplant is significantly harder and um,
So
mine I had its challenges, but I think because I had such a rough induction chemo that it was like, oh, this isn't too bad, luckily, and I didn't have any signs of cancer or anything after that.
yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it, so you don't have to worry about relapse. Man, that's
Yeah,
great. So graft
yeah.
versus host, I mean, did you have to deal with any of that?
I did have a little. I did have in from what people said, they're like, you want a little bit, you not too much,
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's working. So it was about, let me think, August, September, about 5 months after I started getting like skin rashes on my legs. 4 or 5 months after.
What kind of rashes? Like, what did?
It was just kind of like almost like spots all over, and that just itched really bad. And it's one of those things where it's like nothing takes it away except steroids.
Yeah. Did you have to oral steroid, or did you do like rub on ointment?
Um, I think I got both, but
No.
I feel like the oral steroid knocked it out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have. So far, they've said it's not graft versus host disease. They don't think, but like, yeah, I've had the right now bumps. Like some of them are kind of like whelpy, like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then some of them are like you would look and be like, oh, that looks like eczema.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I've had those kind of back and forth dealing with that, but, um, yeah, nothing. Thank God.
good. Yeah, yeah. I know some folks who've had really rough GVHD, but I'll take that little bit I had and be thankful.
Great. Sounds like you had just like a clean run, kind of like,
Yeah, it was like a really, really hard first month. And then
sure.
after that, it was like, it was smooth, it was pretty smooth sailing. Obviously there was a lot more that went into it, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I don't even remember, I feel like, a lot of the issues. It was just
Yeah.
like a whirlwind.
So how did you feel about like transplant? I've talked a lot about for me I don't know where you were at like when you did transplant, like family wise and things like that, but like I personally, you know, I found transplant to be very difficult. I got pretty sick. I got mucositis. I got the BK virus. I got a lot of different things. That, so was your process through that, you know, for the stem cell transplant? Did you find it difficult physically, but also like, you know, mentally? How did you do?
The only thing I had was just like an annoying infection that kind of became a little painful, but that was while I was still in the hospital. Then the hospital I got put up in a condo close to the hospital because the hospital was 4 hours from where I lived, so I had to stay in the condo for an extra 2 weeks. But honestly, after that initial hospital visit after the transplant, honestly, it was such smooth sailing, and they knew I loved to work out, so I convinced them to take the port out after 6 weeks because I didn't really need any more IVs or anything or medications. And then I even convinced them to let me leave the condo like a month early because I was just like, can I just go home? Like, I'm good.
Wow. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
experience not the same.
Yeah. It was
That's, no, mine was intense. You know, mine was like,
yeah.
so did you stay in the hospital once you got your transplant? Were you in there for 30 days in the hospital?
Yeah, I think it was like 34, 35 days, something like
Okay.
that.
See, mine was an outpatient. So like I had to
Yeah.
stay within a certain distance from the hospital,
Yeah.
but I had to come every day. Like,
Yeah. See, I lived 4 hours away, so they just put me up there.
yeah, I had an apartment that I had to,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah. Man, that's left early. Man, got your port out early, dude. That's sick.
Well, the other thing too is when they put the what's it called, the one in your arm,
Oh, your pick line.
PICC line. Thank you.
Man, I love you're forgetting all this stuff. That means you're doing. That means you are living, bro. You keep.
It's we're in the past.
Yeah, I
But no,
love
it's
it.
good. It's good. But yeah, so the PICC line, they knew I liked to work out. So after the first month, they were like, "Yeah, usually you leave this in through the whole process." I was like, "That's not going to work for me." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like,
It's
I got kids. I got to do push-ups. I need to do curls. Like, what can we do?" And they're like, "Well, if we take it out, like you're going to have to do chemo through an IV, and it's going to suck." And I was like, "I don't care. Let's do it." So they pulled the PICC line out. I had them pull it out, and then every time I did chemo, we would just do IVs, which did suck, but I would go home without anything hanging off of me, so I was
which is
happy.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
they wouldn't do. That's so crazy because like I don't know the chemo, and obviously you probably don't remember, but like they wouldn't do some of my stuff. Like I did some things through IV, like as
Mm-hmm.
when I got into the consolidation world, but
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't do like they said it was so bad for your veins that
Yeah.
they wouldn't.
Yeah, they were like, it'll blow veins and do that. I was like, whatever. I got good veins. Like, let's pop them in, see what happens. And yeah, it was good. Worked
Bro,
out.
that's crazy. Your story's wild. Like, you know, it's like you had like one of the like you had a poor prognosis, just so you know. I'm gonna tell you, you know,
Yeah.
you didn't have any problems. That's I mean, not you did, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
like
like it was like the first, because honestly, so like to give like an idea of how bad the first week was, like I texted like goodbye messages to people.
oh yeah.
um like when I was going to be intubated, I was like, I'm this is a wrap. So literally, like I was like, okay, this is bye.
Yeah.
So but it was like one thing after another. Like I was, emergency surgery to remove the lymph node, like brain hemorrhage, pneumonia. I developed heart failure, which, so I still have what's it
Right.
called, an ejection fracture in my heart. So I have
Oh,
to take blood pressure medications for the rest of my life.
yeah, that sucks. That's I get that. So you know, you never come out unscathed. You know, like
Right. So it was like the first part was really bad, and whereas most people like the transplant part is bad, for me it was kind of the opposite. I had a really bad first like month, and then after that it was like, okay, hopefully this is all right. We're good, tiptoeing out. All right, we're good.
I want to know, this is something, because your process is so, like, I had a doctor tell me one time, like, he's like, this AML's like super interesting. And I was like, bro, that's rude. Like, you
Wait,
know,
what did he
like
say?
he called
What
it
was it?
interesting. Like, he's like, AML's really, it's fascinating or something like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
And I was like, rude, you know, like in
One
my
way to
mind.
put it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, don't say that to me, you know. But as I've started talking to people, you know, it's very sad, and there needs to be more awareness, and that's why I'm doing this. But also, there is some fascinating things as far as, like, for instance, like your situation compared to mine, right? You had a what they would call like an unfavorable diagnosis, and I had a
Mm-hmm.
very favorable diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be able to cure it from, say, like chemo, you know, alone. And then end up having like a small molecular relapse and having to do transplant. And my process took, you know, I'm at like a year and a half right now, and I'm just now really getting maybe like some light at the end of this tunnel. And
Right.
versus I was trying to figure out, like, so 2020 is when you were diagnosed. When did you finish, or when did you do transplant? In 2020?
So March, I was diagnosed and started chemo like the day I was diagnosed.
Sure.
Um, transplant August 17th, 2020. So it was about a 6-month process.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
right? So like
It
you
was
just kind
very
of
fast.
down, like
Mm-hmm.
some of um like I was kind of like you. I was extremely sick in the beginning, like
Mm-hmm.
super sick. Like, am I gonna die in here? You know, like is
Yep.
this it?
Yep.
You know, kind of thing. And so I can relate to that. But
Yeah.
um, I did probably 6 months of like induction consolidation,
Mm-hmm.
and then waited, and then started the transplant. Looking probably, but so I'm doing chemo now. I'm doing like maintenance chemo anyway. So and
Yeah.
then it took a while. So it's just, it is a little fascinating to see
Mm-hmm.
in your end of the body, like, right, you as far as like working out and stuff like that. And for me, I am too, in a different way, but like, so the body is fascinating, that like the way your body responded to chemotherapy compared to, say, the way my body or someone else's body.
Right.
And
Yep.
like, I have a couple friends, like I have a friend right now, and his initial chemo, if I'm recalling correctly, went really well. And after that, like, he ended up relapsing, and it just
Mm-hmm.
came back with, you know, an ugly red
Yeah.
head. Weird, you know. It took me a little while to get the 0, you know, MRD negative.
Yeah.
And it could have been the type of chemo that my doctor chose, possibly. You know, there's a lot of reasons,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah, but once I did, I was able to kind of maintain that small minimal or 0, kind of like you
Right.
a little bit. But yeah, it's just crazy. And why? And I have another friend. He's actually a bodybuilder. Be really cool to hook y'all up. I'm gonna see. He's a little more private with these types of things, so I'm gonna give you his name, and you
Okay.
connect with him. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
crazy story. He had, like, it got behind, AML got behind his eye. He went blind for a little bit.
Oh wow.
But he's, you know, he's good. He's like 2 years cancer free. This dude's huge. He's jacked, man.
Yeah.
He's and you know, he talks about like losing weight and stuff like that. But he shows me pictures, like, bro, you were huge then, like,
Yeah.
still killing it.
Yeah.
And so he did bodybuilding before, so there may be some cool connection there. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know how much you're weighing, but I don't know if y'all have the same weight class and all that, but yeah.
So I do men's physique, or I did men's physique, and I was, so to give you an idea, when I was diagnosed, I was about 230 pounds, probably about 12% body fat, and then I dropped to like 180 something. And even people are like, you still, had muscle when I was going through chemo, but it's like, yeah, for me, but like from going from, a very, jacked guy to, in my opinion, skin and bones, it was a lot,
Yeah.
at once. But now
Yeah.
I'm,
Talk
back up.
mental. Like, obviously, I think a lot of people could look at that. And when I talk about it, like, I'm sure they see it the same way, that like how discouraging mentally it was for me.
Yes.
To lose that weight, to lose the muscle mass, especially in the definition. And it's not about a vain thing, but I mean, it really is discouraging because you put 5 to 6 days a week into the lift, and then that's not even counting the diet side or the supplement side, like,
Right.
like protein and all those things. So your finances are going into it, your time's going into it, your body to the grind. Yeah.
It's like if you had 100 grand in the bank and then the next day you woke up with 5. Like, it's like, oh, 5 grand is still, a good little amount of money, but it's like, yeah, it's not 100.
Oh, no, I felt good. Like, I think about this all the time. Like, I think my goals have changed. I don't know if this is it for you, but like, I felt so like strong is the wrong word, but like when I would run, like I would do things like, softball I'd pick up there, or I'd kickball or something, where I physically had to do something. And I could feel my legs, like when I took off, like I just felt that. Or like basketball, I'm sure you play basketball. You could feel that athleticism and the strength, and that's what I miss the most, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean, because it's like the just strength is just like gone, and you have to kind of, rebuild it and start from scratch again. So, but, just keep at it, and it comes back. That's the cool thing about muscle, is like muscle memory is real. And I knew that going into it. So I was like, I can't look at myself right now. I have to just, I took documentation, I took photos, videos, because I'm like, I know I'm going to come back. And I think that also that mental like thing of this is what's going to happen. I do feel like my body followed it, not to get too hippie and woo woo, but I really do think like me just like, this is what I'm going to do, and manifesting it is like my body's like, okay, we're going to do that.
I'm with you.
I think there's, yeah,
I'm with that. Like I'm all about like, even before all this, like with lifting, I'm like,
yeah,
I would tell myself things, like it's super weird probably, but like by myself, like, man, you did your best today, and that's all you can do, or like,
yeah,
good job. That was a good job, man. You did a good work. Stuff like,
yeah. No,
but
it's important.
like, because like when you go from, no judgment here, but like my max bench was like 275 going into this thing, and then now I'm over here with 135 on the bench, like fighting for looking for a spot.
Yeah. Well,
So
if it makes you feel better, so before I was diagnosed, I hit, I think I was at 365 max bench. Yeah. When I was in the thick of it, I could barely do one push up.
Man, I feel, yeah.
Then 2 years after my transplant, 3 years after, I hit a new max bench of 405.
My boy, so, hey, that's cool. That's yeah, good for you. I'm not sure.
Give you some peace of mind there. It comes back if you because that was my goal too. I'm like, I'm going to be stronger than I was before. I'm going to do everything better than before, just to prove I could.
Yeah, that's like my buddy and I, my workout partner. Obviously I can't go to the gym quite yet. But I have, thank God, during COVID we got a full setup in my garage. Yeah. So I am able to, I do lift weight. Yeah, thank God. I would have been, oh my God. Like I just like, you know what? That was one of those purchases where your wife's like, what are you doing? Like that costs a lot. And like you had, like I got cables, I got squat racks, I got bench, like I got it, And, but I went in with friends and stuff like that. But, I even tried to sell it. Like, I'm like, I'm going to the gym. I don't need this anymore, And then, I got diagnosed, and, man, it has been probably mentally the best thing I could ever have for me, because it's like, you know what, you don't look like you used to, you know, but you're doing something. You're making progress, you know. And like right now, I'm still on like dietary restrictions, and like actually they just gave me the green light on steak yesterday or Friday, so I'm like, hey, I'm back, baby. You know.
Your gains are
So
gonna pop off now, man. You
yeah,
get steak. Shoot.
they were like, I could have it, but I had to have it like basically burnt, you know, like.
Burnt, yeah, it's like
And
rubberized. You're like, nah, I need
I'm
a
good.
nice meat.
Yeah, I'm good. So I haven't been eating the best, but uh, I'm like I'm about to get my beef and stuff going. But you know, I'm really into it. But I have had to like temper my not my expect, because I'm with you. I'm like, set a goal, but like I think my goals have changed a little bit because I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to be a bodybuilder, and I don't know that I want to be big anymore. Like I used to be like, I want to be big, you know. And for me and my body build, I'm 6'2" and I'm skinny. Like you know, that's like always been my physique. And so when I got up, like I'd be like at 165 all the time, you know. But when I got up to 220, you know, pretty lean, it was it's like great change for me, you know, and I enjoyed it. But like, you know, there were things I remember, like some of my more athletic things, like I wasn't near as agile at that way and stuff like that. So I think I think 190, 195 for me would be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be solid.
Like I think for me, I'm like, you know, if I can get there, and have like some shoulder definition, you know, chest and arms, you know, of course, I miss my legs. Like my legs kind of, you know, you don't realize that sitting around, it got me, man. You know, I was like, my legs were little, but they weren't as little as they ain't as little as they are now.
Yeah, I hear you there.
But man, I love it. I love that you coach, and I would like to share. I don't know if what your availability is, and but I like to share that, and maybe we figure out a way to get a clip and share your email or however you like to be contacted. I know you have some TikTok stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny because I did coaching, you know, for a long time, and I stepped away from it about a year ago and got into real estate, sold some houses, but I'm just like, you know what, this just isn't the same. So I just fired coaching back up, and I'm really excited to kind of rebranded. And now I'm really focusing on, you know, not necessarily just cancer folks, but guys like us, you know, in the, you know, 30 to 40, you know, plus or minus range, who are, you know, a lot of dads and just busy. And because my goals have shifted too. You know, I don't know if I'll ever step on a bodybuilding stage again, but I like to stay fit, and life is just crazy. So I have to change my training style. I like to be a little bit more athletic these days too, and just, you know, staying healthy. It's not about just being huge and strong. It's like, you know, I need to be able to wake up tomorrow and not hurt and be able to keep up with my kiddos. So yeah, I'm just focusing on that and working with guys like us.
Man, I love it. And I love some of my friends. So when I went to the gym I went to was like a lot of bodybuilders, and I'm not that, but I saw them train a lot of people, and so I have some friends that do it, and I gained a lot of respect for, like, you know, it's like, man, you're not. Are you even counting his reps? You know, I used to kind of get them hard. I'm like, you know, what are you doing over there? You know, and I actually, once I got to know them, and like they're setting their meals for them, they're doing their macros, they're checking in, and I just really gained a big respect for that. And man, that's cool. Hopefully, I'd love you do that full time. Are you still doing real estate?
I mean, I still have my license. Sold a house the other day, but I'm mostly doing, you know, just the cooking stuff and
I love it.
coaching.
And right, that's right. So you do like, which is like when I saw you, you posted a video recently about like you know, a day in the life kind of thing, and I was like, you do like, is this like something he's just like promoting? Maybe do, and then so when you told me you do it, I was like, man, that is like that's next level, bro.
Really random how I fell into it, but it's been really cool doing it. I love to cook, and so doing a little bit of private chef work, and really just the main focus right now is just rebuilding the coaching business and getting that fired back up. So excited.
Man, I'd love to see, I know I saw you dunk the other day, which was pretty sweet. So you're obviously fit
Yeah.
enough to help those people reach
Yeah.
their um honestly, your story's crazy, on a totally different, just from some of the what I'm used to talking to, not in a bad way, honestly. And I think it's good for people to see, like, hey, just because you get a flip 3 diagnosis, or that means nothing.
Right. I
You know,
didn't, listen to any of that, because I was like, I'm not a percentage. I'm me, and I know what I can do. And so I just, whenever anyone asks me for advice, what I tell them is make a goal, because that goal will drive you to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's physical, mental, I don't know, whatever goal. For me,
yeah,
obviously it was physical, because that's what I was
sure.
into. And I think having a physical goal is important, but any goal that's kind of big and scary and makes you get up every day, I think is really important for not just people going through cancer, but anyone, any man needs that.
Told the same thing to me. I can attest that. You said you sent me. I have the same message from you, and I actually have recently set one,
Yeah,
a scary goal, and I'm not, and
good.
I'm like still on the fence about it, But I'll tell you off air. I don't want anybody to really know about it
Yeah, I'd
yet,
love to hear it. I'd love to hear
but yeah, yeah. But
it.
man, it is a cool thing, and it gives you something. I will say this: having something to look forward to, um,
Right.
is super important for me. It was like, even if it was small, something
Yeah.
like, when I get home, or when I get to the, apartment, I can do this. And when I'm done, I'm going to do this. And, it's funny, like how when you start to feel a little better, you're like, oh man, can I actually do that? Like, because in the hospital, you're like,
Yeah.
nothing's going to hold me back. I'm
Yeah.
YOLO. But,
Well,
uh,
for me, it was that first week, even when I was going all south, my goal was to, hey, if I make it out of this, I'm competing, and I'm going to try and do it in 2 years. And almost to the date, I hit that goal. So I don't know if that
that's,
played a big role in how smooth the rest of the process was, but
yeah.
it forced me to get up out of bed. It forced me, to go for it, and it was hard. It was really hard. I forget about how hard it was sometimes until I'm like, oh yeah, I could barely
Good.
walk some of those days, but it was good. I'm glad I did it.
Do you feel like you have any, maybe trauma? I don't want to say trauma. I hate when people use some. I hate that word sometimes. But man, the more I've gone through
Yeah.
some trauma, it's real. Like, that's a real word. But do you feel like you have any of that, or do you feel like you've been able to kind of really mentally focus enough where you don't deal with any of that?
Some days I'm like, I'm good, but then it's like things will happen, and I'm like, oh, I have a lot, that I just kind of ignored and just pushed through,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
which maybe is a good thing, but to my own detriment, probably. In hindsight, it's like I need to process some of this stuff. So I still work on myself a lot. I still actually go to therapy, and
good for you.
have a lot to work on. Not only from this, but from my days in the military too. I had
Oh yeah,
a lot
that's
of
true.
stuff to deal with, and yeah.
I love that, man. I love that you're
So
open about your, kind of taking steps to do something for that, because a lot of people ignore it, especially men. They don't really get involved in like the therapy and all that. So I would love.
yeah,
I may end up something like that one day. I'm just not like really right now. I'm just good with just kind of like unloading it myself,
yeah,
slowly.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that it's like being 5 years for me is just like seems like an ultimate goal. Uh, as most leukemia patients would say. How did it, like? Do you feel like a weight was
hmm
lifted at all, or do you feel like it was so long to get there that you had already kind of like started? Hey, I'm good.
you know. Fortunately, because everything kind of played out where I didn't have any relapses. I mean, I competed in bodybuilding 2 years after, and so that alone is like, oh, that dude's definitely good. I was, you know, and I
Yeah,
was hitting all my strength markers. So it was kind of like I had a few scares here and there, as far as blood work, but nothing
sure.
crazy. I had clear blood work for the most part the last couple of years. I had a liver biopsy because that was acting up a couple of years back, but other than that, it's just kind of been like it was one of those things where this year August 17th snuck up, and I was like, oh man, I just hit 5 years. You know, it was kind of like, oh, next week I hit 5 years. Here we go. So
Man, you're
you
no
know, I've been, you know, mentally over it. Yeah.
that's my like.
So
I've always been able to. I'm kind of like being able to control like my environment and control my thoughts pretty well. And then I think like this feels out of control. You know, like the whole thing. You're just like, this is out of my control. Like I can only do what I can do, and that's it. And so I think like it'll be not maybe for me will be nice when and if I hit that goal to be like, you know, I feel like I'm back. You know, yeah. Man, I appreciate that.
yeah, I think I used to be like that. I used to be like that really bad as far as just being impatient and having to control everything. But I think that's one big thing that this whole thing has taught me is to just let go and have faith and, you know, just take it one day at a time. And,
Yeah.
you know, it sounds cliche, but I feel like that's really
No,
what I had to learn. And here I am now. So,
man, your story is a blessing, and I really appreciate you doing this. I have a couple of just random questions for you, and then I know you're a busy man.
sure.
I keep up really close on social media. You do a really good job there. I wish I was as
Yeah.
diligent as you. You kill it, and I know it's going to pay off. But
Yeah. I
let me get
mean, I used to do a lot more on TikTok. I just got
yeah.
the IG back up, but working on
Well, good. I
TikTok
mean,
again.
you have
So
such a great following. I mean, the fact that you, not that that's what it's about necessarily, but the fact that you're able to get it to that is an achievement all in itself. I keep up with it a little bit more now, and so I'm like, you know, that's a lot of people. Like that's I think you have like 154,000 followers or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
that's great. Like I
Well,
don't think a lot of
it, it, it's like when I was really in the middle of going through it is when TikTok was really kind of starting off. And so
yeah,
my goal was I shared 2 videos a day while I was recovering from my bone marrow transplant. And that
great
really
idea.
blew it up to over 100,000. And since then it's like, it actually has gone down a little. I think I'm at like 113. I was in the 120s, but I just like I'm not as consistent, but it's been great because I've been able to reach a lot of people who are going through really hard things. And like yourself, you were able to find me and
Yeah,
message me, and
absolutely.
it's been awesome to connect with a lot of great people. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's been
what it's
awesome.
about for me. I don't really care about any
Yeah,
sort of analytics necessarily. I just really enjoy, when I've had people ask like small questions, but I remember having those small questions and like someone being able to like, no, look, this is the way it went for me. Don't worry.
yeah.
I remember that being just such like
Well,
I feel
but yeah, the hard thing is too is like you feel so isolated and alone. Even I always tell people, even if you're surrounded by loved ones, you're the one going through it. You're the one going through all these mental battles of like, what about this? What about this? So just having an outlet of reaching out to someone who's gone through it, who can give
yes,
you tips and advice, it's so helpful. Even if
it
it
is
seems like a silly question, like anyone, like don't hesitate to ask me. Like I will always answer questions with this kind of stuff. I love it.
me too. Because I've had people. I plan on having them on the podcast soon as well, but that they would just stay up with me. I'd be
Yep.
my blood work this. Have you ever heard of this? What is this? And man, they would answer as best they could. And it's just been. I feel so blessed for the AML community. Just kind of like coming together and uh, all support one another. But I love your story, man. I have a couple questions that I kind of came up with, and just so people can get to know you. And what's your favorite cheat meal? Do you have one? Do you do cheat meals?
Well, I don't call them cheat meals because my thing is like if you're think about it like this: if you have a significant other and you're having a bad day with them, you go and cheat on them. Probably won't end well. So you have just a time, an untracked meal, which is totally fine. It's part of the process. Mentally, physically, it's great.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I don't like the term cheat meal, but
What's your
I do.
uncalculated? You're
My uncalculated meal is funny. My favorite, just indulgent meal, my favorite untried meal. I love a good smash burger, good
yeah,
sauce, nice, thin, crispy. Had many smash burgers through the chemo process to keep me going too.
yeah, heck yeah. Some of those meals that I used to really enjoy, I did during transplant. I've had to stay away from them for a little while. Like I'm like, it's kind of.
Yeah.
I know you like cars. You like cars. What's your dream car?
Oh man, I have several, but I feel like I always go back to like probably like a '69 Chevelle SS. Resto mod, just clean. I love, a good muscle car is always has my
Yeah.
heart. I grew up in Michigan. My dad had a body shop. He restored cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Or maybe like a '69 Yenko Camaro, something a little bit more rare, but still muscle car. But I love, the new exotic stuff too.
Sure.
One day I'll have a Lamborghini,
Nope.
the gated
Yeah.
manual. I want to do it. So.
Yeah, might as well. YOLO. Yeah, you can't take it with you, kind of thing. Exactly. All right. What song right now is getting you hyped up for gym for your lift?
Oh man, what's funny is I listen to like since I've moved to Nashville, I've become such a country guy.
Yeah. So that.
But this isn't I don't listen to like good gym songs. I just certain songs just hit me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it. So like, Hard Fought Hallelujah, Jelly Roll, and Brandon something, I forget his name. Love that song. Man. Obsessed with it right now.
Yeah, man, what is his name? Yep, I could have told you maybe. I know you're talking about that,
but it's great. I love this. Back in the Saddle by
is that?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank. I can see it's Luke Combs.
And anymore. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Haunted by Jelly Roll. Brown is another good one. Love it.
I do country music a lot. So my kids are like, they don't. So,
yeah.
What's the best movie of all time?
Oh my gosh, man! I almost have to break it down into genres.
Okay.
But, I guess my favorite that I could just watch, and it's a good cinematic movie, but I'll say for me, I love Dark Knight. It's fantastic.
It is a great movie. It
so
is
good.
A great.
The cinematography, the acting, great. I don't know. There's a lot of good.
What about like series? Do you have like a, like a series that you're like, this is, you have to watch?
Oh man. Series. I mean, Lord of the Rings is classic.
What about like shows? I don't want to name any.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like movie series.
No, yeah.
I mean, Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy are probably my top two.
I'm not a big Sons of Anarchy, but Game of Thrones is like way up there for me.
Oh yeah.
Well, man, that's awesome.
I'll say Stranger Things because we're watching it right now.
Stranger Things. Hey, what did you think about that?
It's good. I'm like, I kind of forgot a lot of stuff that happened, but I'm getting back into it, and I'm like, I can't wait for the next half of the season to drop. My wife and I love watching shows. So.
It was great though. Like I felt like it was maybe their best, right?
Yeah, when that last episode ended, it was like very good. Loved it.
Me and my kid, my kid's old enough. We're all like, "What the heck, man? What's going on?"
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah, we're big at this house. We're big Harry Potter fans. We love Harry Potter.
Okay.
And then
great movies, great books.
Yeah, everything Harry Potter. And then Peaky Blinders is up there. Breaking Bad. Yeah, we're Game of Thrones for sure. We used to be really big Walking people, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah,
but I didn't know you were in Nashville, man. Cool.
Tom Hardy in Peaky Blinders, by the way, is peak acting. He's incredible.
They're coming out with a movie to finish it all up.
I know. I heard, and I'm like, I can't wait.
I'm ready. Well, man, thank you for being on here. I don't want to keep you. I know you're a busy man. You're in Nashville. I'm up there all the time. We'll have to get lunch. And
yeah, definitely. Let me know.
That's really cool. And is there, before we go, and then we'll cut it out, but any advice you'd give somebody going through this right now?
Yeah, kind of same thing I said earlier, and to you when you asked me the same thing is just make a goal, make a scary goal, to push you through, whether it's, physical, mental, emotional, any kind of goal, to get you up out of bed every day. And then along with that, I will say, find something to be happy about and love in each day, whether that's a loved one, whether that's something you do. Just look forward to being happy and enjoy each day, because you never know if tomorrow's happening. So
I agree, man. That's so huge. And man, I can't wait. So I'll break down this episode on my next episode. So I can't wait to dig into some of this stuff. You're a really cool guy. I'm so proud for you that you are where you are. Man, you just keep doing you, bro. Keep living. I love that you're forgetting all this cancer talk and everything, man. Like, I'm in there. I know it. I feel like I'm a doctor at this point. So glad that you've been able to get to that point. And thank you for spending time with us, man. And thanks everybody listening. And go check my boy out. I'll put some links on here for like your page and everything like that. And yeah, go get some training, man. Let's get huge. Hey, get me swole. I'm ready, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. I got you.
I got